Hello and welcome to the Roker Report podcast in association with Hawks Brewery, and today you've got Gav, not Alex or Johnny or whichever reprobate you normally have. It's me, the pro, and I'm joined across the table by Ger Fowler, who is the man behind Veterans in Crisis Sunderland. Very important and poignant charity within the city who do a lot for people who need their help. How's Ger today?
I'm alright, Gav. Thanks for coming along. It's a bit weird, like I've never done a podcast over the phone before.
That's it. We're just sitting with the phone in the middle of the table, cracking on. I've got a cup of tea.
I'm used to being more professional with having all the gear.
I feel like you're showing us up because I'm surrounded by mics and camera stuff and that. And
I'll invite you on ours when you've got time. When you've got time.
So obviously, I'm in this fantastic building. It's at on the corner of Roker Avenue. If people don't know where it is. Which is basically the hub for Veterans in Crisis, isn't it? So
yeah. This
place, what is it to the people?
Well, it's called the ERV, which means Emergency Rendezvous.
Right.
So when you're in the forces, in the army, particularly for me, if you went to war or if you're on exercise and something went drastically wrong, everybody knows to head to there. So we did that for veterans so they would know if anything went wrong in their life, anything at all, they can come here and get help.
Right.
It's a 4-story building. We have downstairs, which is a drop-in. Each floor has its own kitchen, bathroom and shower. So we have the drop-in where they can come during the day, chill out, watch the telly, wash the clothes.
Yeah, I've just come through the drop-in there downstairs. A few lads in having a cup of tea and just cracking on.
It's nice for them, it stops social isolation. That's a big problem, social isolation. People don't think about it, but when you're in the forces and you live in the block, you've got people around you all the time.
Yeah.
When you leave,
you're on your own.
Especially if you get a flat. And then you end up maybe drinking, taking drugs. Mm-hmm. Depression is a terrible thing,
So obviously this building's got. We were walking up, so you've got your playrooms and what have you.
So we've got the next floor up from the drop-in is an emergency apartment that is able to house up to a family of 4.
Brilliant.
It's got everything you need in there, dishwasher. It's a lovely place. The next floor up is a therapy centre where we do different kinds of therapy. So they can have Reiki, they can do NLP, they can do mindfulness, art therapy, music therapy, all that's free. And on the top floor where we are now is the podcast studio.
It's brilliant, yeah. I'm jealous. It's a fully kitted out room where you could do with something like this, few mics on the table and that. So the podcast that you do, obviously, it's fairly new, isn't it?
I think we've done about 30, or 29 that we've put out. I did 5 to practice, which we kind of let about 6 different people from all walks of life to listen to.
Yeah.
And give us the feedback on what they thought. And to be honest, the first ones were like, "You're too mental, mate. That's never ever you're never gonna get a job ever again if you put that out." So I toned it down a little bit. The idea of being though, it is for veterans, and it needs to sound like a conversation that you would have in the naffy.
Yeah.
So it's not really politically correct. It has swearing in it. But, people enjoy that, and it's social isolation. People can listen into it and feel, and we've had lots of good feedback, and people have actually come to the building and said, "I thought I was the only one who felt like that."
Well, I'm not ex-forces, but I listen to them all. I think it's brilliant. Right. Like I say, you've had people on who have served the majority of their life and come out and they plunge into crisis. Like I say, the word crisis is where we're at.
Yeah. People don't realise, but when you're in the forces, you get everything done for you. So you get your doctor, you get your dentist, all your bills are paid because it comes out your bank. So when you leave, you've got to sort all that out. Some people don't know how to get a doctor, which normally, if you're a civilian, it's so easy to know. People don't know that you're allowed to go and get a house, to apply for a house. I had one client, he'd served 22 years, and he was living in a tent with his 2 dogs because he didn't realise you would go to the council and say you're homeless and they would help you get thing.
Mad.
It took us 2 weeks to get him a nice 2-bedroom house.
But I've got a mate who's just joined the RAF. He's just passed out his basic training, but he's my age, so he's 27, 28. And when I had a pint with him the other week, and I see is so who are you with when you're in there? Obviously, because they're in these big dorms full of people. And he said, there's kids here. They're literally kids, 16-year-old. So when you're thinking about it, when you're 16-year-old and you're going into the forces, and some of them are spending 20 odd years in there, they've never had the chance to be an adult really in civilian life.
No, and you don't get any transition when you leave, as in you don't get when you join the forces. as 16, as I did, they break you down and then they build you up to what they want you to be.
Right.
But when you leave as a soldier.
Yeah.
In my case. So nobody tells you how to be a civilian again.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem, you know.
So when people come in here, obviously, and I mean, I'm not asking you to talk about people specifically, but day to day, what sort of thing you're dealing with?
Street homeless, people getting evicted, benefit advice, drug and alcohol problems, social isolation, mental health problems, physical health problems, needing food. I mean, we don't call them food parcels, we call them a ration pack.
Yeah.
Do you know, we use terminology that only the military would realise, you know. That's the whole idea about it. They can come in here, they can see things that in normal life now you wouldn't get away with saying. You know, like different. It's not politically correct, really. However, there's nothing harmful meant in it. It's just that's what they use to speak now. And a lot of people sort of warm to that straight away, and then they make friends really quickly because of it.
So obviously when I've been in here just this morning, there's a couple of lads downstairs having a cuppa and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it literally the case you just tell people turn up?
Yeah, anybody can turn up. We're open 9 till 5 every day. We have a full timetable of activities every week.
Right.
So Monday morning they go to circuits. We get free lifetime memberships at Fitness 2000 in Roker for all our clients.
Brilliant, yeah.
And Les gives us the room 3 times a week so we can have circuit training.
And do you have many people turn up for that?
Yeah. We get lots.
Brilliant.
Tuesday we have the Gunners Club, which is a kind of coffee morning, 10 till 1. Any veteran can turn up, they don't have to be a client. We get around anything from about 35 to 50 clients come to that.
Brilliant.
Wednesdays art therapy from 9 till 12, and that's in the Navy Club down the road in Roker.
Yeah.
Thursday it's circuits again, and also the Glass Centre. Friday it's the Beacon of Light, which we have sporting activities all morning. The Glass Centre is on over the weekend as well, and we have season tickets with local companies. The King Brothers and Durham Kitchens bought us 2 season tickets each, so we have 4 season tickets that the clients can take turns in having. I mean, to be honest, that's not really good for the mental health at the minute. Like, saying as this is a football podcast,
it's not good for anyone's health, really. I mean, we're as we record this, we're in the midst of a pandemic, as they call it. You know, and obviously it stopped the football, but how does it affect you lot? Yeah.
Well, this is we can prove now how important our service is to the city because we have 220 clients, but we will actually deliver or get medicine or do anything for any veteran in Sunderland. We're in the process of now, if there is a serious lockdown when people are not allowed to house, we're going to be able to get sort of passes so our team can be out and about and deliver stuff, you know. Because a lot of our clients don't shop for weeks, they buy daily. People can't afford to have like a normal electricity bill, so they have key meters. All that needs to be sorted.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people.
It's a trickle-down effect, isn't it? Obviously, you're hearing every day these press conferences with the Prime Minister and whoever else, and they're talking about we're going to commit this amount of money and that amount of money. But really, I mean, the trickle-down effect is that the most vulnerable people in society are going to be hurt.
Yeah. I mean, what happens, this is one thing I haven't worked out, but what happens if you're street homeless and you've got to self-isolate?
Yeah.
What happens then? You know what I mean? Nobody seems to mention that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not really sure how it's happening. I mean, we don't have any, because of VIX, we don't have any homeless in Sunderland. If someone was actually living on the street and they were a veteran, they're doing that because of their own choice. And a lot of people want to live outside because they getting a roof over your head is only the start, right? Because you can put someone in a place and then they become socially isolated and all their problems get worse, right? So you need to have a wraparound effect where you can do stuff like what we do, you know. But some people go into a house and they can't handle it. They like being outside, so they've got people walking past all the time. And, you know, people give money, they give them food and stuff. Yeah,
you've got to kind of look at the wider spectrum and think not everybody is like me or you.
No,
you know?
This is it. You know, people like being out. I mean, there's a lot of ex-service people live in the woods at Carrick, which it's just crazy. they purposely want to live in the woods because that's what they used to.
Just used to living breathing rough. Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah. But it's crazy to me because I like going home, watching the telly, watching Sky and having a bath and all that, you know. But some people want to do it.
So the podcast that you do, obviously, we were talking before. I listen to it all the time. In terms of the football club, you've had quite a few people on recently. You've had Borley,
Yeah.
Tom Sloanes and Leadbitter, haven't you?
Yeah. And the football club are brilliant with me, like, to be honest.
I was going to ask that. How did the club treat you? Because
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. From the first day I asked for help from the football club, they've just been excellent with us in every way I've asked for help. They've given us it.
Brilliant.
It's so good. I mean, Kevin Ball, I asked him first to come over and do a talk in the Gunners. It's brilliant. The lads loved it, and the lasses. And then we wanted an ambassador for Vix. So I sort of asked the clients and every one of them, can you see if you can get Kevin Ball? Phone them up, and straight it was like, I'd love to. I'd be honoured to do it, you know. Tom Sloanes, the new director. I knew Tom when he was Betdag, or when he was doing the thing. They've put the penalty shootout down at Charlton and then give us the money.
Actually, hang on a second. Do you know when Betdag doesn't play on the pitch, did you play?
Yes.
Did your boots fall apart?
Yes.
That's where I recognise your face from.
Split in half.
I remember your boots falling.
Split in half. I think I played for about half an hour, and then we had a game, Vix had a game, and I lasted 10 minutes because I got injured in the wall.
Never again?
Nah, you know, I'm 50 this year, and football's not my thing. You know,
Not even for a laugh.
Well, it is for a laugh, but I'd rather one of the clients got the experience because I've done it now.
Well, I've done it 3 or 4 times, and we're doing it again this year, the Roker Report lads. But I've said,
will you play go?
Well, they've said they might move it, you know. But we don't know.
Everything else has been moved, hasn't it? Well, we had the Mayor's Ball because we like one of the Mayor's charities with Washington Mind. That was supposed to be, the ball was 27th of March, and that's been put back.
Right.
The 10K has been put back as well.
It's everything. Even, they've cancelled the Euros, which is, you know, that was going to make millions and millions right across Europe.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
No.
We're in a situation now where I shouldn't even really be here, should I? When
we're not saying nobody listens to this, so you'll be alright.
I think you shook your hand when I come in, and I'm like, well, you know.
So, you know, I went to a conference down London. I was speaking at a national conference about homelessness with veterans, and people were saying, "Oh, you've got an elbow pump," and I was like, "I'm a 49-year-old bloke from Sunderland. I either shake my hand or done it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be pumping elbows." Like,
seen the refs doing it on the telly, and that's it.
It's crazy, like it. You know, I mean, just in the shake, I just see all right.
Yeah.
If that's where you are, but you know, I'll be honest, like, we've all still been shaking hands, like passing disease all over the place.
Well, the lad who edits our podcast, Sean, he's not very well at the minute, so we're hoping that we can't transmit it through the airways.
Let's hope so. Well, where's it come from in the first place? You don't know if it's been transmitted through the airways. Got conspiracy theories.
I've seen some mad ones.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad, like.
But the thing is, as well, though, like, with all this, I mean, going back to obviously how this affects people at the core in the city and what have you. For me, I've been trying to bang the drum all week. You've got to help out the little people. Yeah. You've got to help the businesses and the charities.
Let's not bring my size into it, mate. All right.
But they're not so little people. But you know, we've got to. I mean, I'm sick of telling people about this. They're moaning on and on about supermarkets and what have you. People stockpiling is horrendous. I mean, it's pure greed. And like you say, people who come and see you lot,
this is terrible, and obviously our donations of food and stuff have sort of dropped off as well. But you can understand because people are worried about themselves, you know what I mean? But if people have got nothing, you know, what's going to happen? Well, and this is a situation that you only think on like zombie films, you know. This is the type of thing that I don't think anyone in our lifetime would have thought this would happen. No. You know, like the whole people get locked in the houses and stuff.
It's the first time schools have ever shut for something like this. You know, even during the war, they still went to school.
Oh, yeah. People were fighting, they couldn't even look after them.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it is now. It's people are saying, well, who looks after the kids of families who are going to be working? And they've said, well, they'll keep schools open. But it's even then, how do you get there? Are they going to be going to schools that they know? You know,
and then do they need special passes to get around? Because, like, from what my understanding is, in Europe, people are getting fined for being outside. Yeah. I mean, it must be a nightmare for the government, you know. The government, as much as people will call, but you can't please everybody.
With this, not with this.
All of the parties should be together and just be trying to work something out that would work for everyone. Yeah. Not trying to point score, you know what I mean, and say they should have done it that way and this, because nobody's ever been through this. So
no, I think it's. I mean, to feed back into the whole helping others thing, community spirit has to be back, you know, because I mean, I'm it's great. I look on Facebook and I see there's shops doing deliveries to old people and stuff. I mean, just that. I mean, that's what got people through the war, being a community.
Well,
you know?
Vix wouldn't have done as well as it was if it wasn't for community spirit. Because when I used to work for a Gateshead-based charity in Sunderland, and there wasn't much empathy to Sunderland people, you know, because there were most Geordies who worked there, and that killed me, you know.
Yeah.
So when I started Vix, I didn't want it to be a charity, I wanted it to be a community interest company, so community was in the title. I wanted to only help veterans in Sunderland, only employ people from Sunderland, only even get people who do work on the building to be from Sunderland, you know, which is kind of crazy, because when I phone people up and say, can you give us an estimate? And then I say, where you from? You know, and he's like, well, I'm from Newcastle. I'm like, no, you're all right, mate. Even if it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep the money in Sunderland. You know, we give every penny that's donated to clients or fundraise for clients gets given to clients. Right. And everyone knows that's spent in Sunderland, you know.
See as well though, like the people who are turning up here, they just need help. You know what I mean? They need help, whether it's from Joe Blogs or it's from the club or it's from you. They turn up because they need help, you know. And the way I look at it is that if you need help, you'll turn to anybody. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And it's good. It's good to have somewhere like this. And I mean, like I say, people listening to this will have heard we've had we've done quite a bit with the soup kitchen over at Hendon with Andrea. She's great. She's just wants to help people, and it's actually quite sad that this is a thing, really, that there's not enough proper help out there, that people actually have to come together and do it themselves because there's no real support. But at the same time, you think, well, you know, if it wasn't for stuff like that, you've probably saved countless lives just having this service, you know.
You're looking at like in the tens plus of people that who would say that they were going to kill themselves if it wasn't for our support. You know, if you save one life, that's good enough. Exactly. You know? I mean, this crisis will show one thing, that this building is desperately needed. You know, as you said, people downstairs, we've got food to drop off. There's somewhere for people to phone up if they're worried. You know, and this it'll come out in its own. Like, you know, people will realise that this building's needed. So
before we get on to the football chat, if people want to help during this, what can they do?
Well, people can donate food. They can bring it along.
That's important, because I was just sorry to butt in, but I was talking to the girl downstairs. Claire. Yeah, Claire, and she was telling us that she's like scavenging around the shops just to put packages together for people.
Well, we're even splitting bread and putting them into like 4 or 5 slices. You know,
I mean, that's where it's got to. People need help. Yeah. I mean, even I wish I'd known you were after food. I would have brought some with us, but people need help because, I mean, there's lads going away today who probably need food. Yeah. You know, and that's how urgent this is. So, I mean, we're hoping that, I mean, we're recording this, it's Thursday now, we're hoping to turn this around quick, but I mean, this is probably going to be something ongoing, not just during this crisis that we've got now. I mean, although it's a bit more urgent, but over however many months, years, you need help, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also, at the minute, we're crowdfunding because we need to pay for this building, we need to buy it. We rented it and then it got put for sale. The long and short of it is we need to pay 120 grand to buy it. We're doing a crowdfunding thing with Aviva, which was meant to finish on the 22nd of April, but they've contacted us today and said that we can put it back for 6 months if we want. That entails people donate money and it goes into the fund. Aviva had never had anybody who had raised more than 5 grand before. Now, 5 grand's a lot of money, however, next to 120 grand, it's not very much. So we said, we'll raise 15 grand. And they went, well, it's impossible, you never do it. However, after 2 weeks, coming up to 3 weeks, we're at 9,300 quid.
Brilliant.
So
that'll get you the deposit on a mortgage or something like that. Yeah.
So we're in the sort of final push. We like I say, we can carry it on, but now in this situation, I can't expect people who don't know if they're going to be working tomorrow or getting paid to give us money. So it's bad for everyone.
It's as little or as much as you can give.
Yes, yeah.
And we did a big one over Christmas for the soup kitchen, and it was mental how many people, just even the £5 that add up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. If people, we were talking the other day, 200,000 people in Sunderland. If only half of them give a quid, the building's paid for. Yeah. You know, and which the community spirit in Sunderland, that could happen. Yeah. You know, I mean, I took some of the match, and I think it was 30,000 there. And we're like, well, if everyone give a quid there, that's 30 grand. There's the deposit. You know, and it's so easy.
You never had no buckets on the gate?
We had one on the game near a Remembrance Day, and I think we made about £3 grand, but you're only allowed to have one a year or
Right.
one a season. So we couldn't do another one, but like the Remembrance Day kind of the club put our, and this is, and it might sound strange to, well, not to you actually, but one of the best things that's ever happened in this whole thing for me is that the club put my logo on the big screen, you know, and that just, you know, a tear in my eye.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so great. And they let the clients walk around behind the soldiers, you know, people clapping, and when you've been really proud and then you've ended up in trouble and things have been horrible for you, for the public or the supporters at Sunderland to clap you when you walk around, it's massive
I think
confidence
that's
boost.
up here. I don't know what about the rest of the country, but up here there's a massive support for veterans. You know what I mean?
I don't know if my model would work elsewhere, because everything I do is for the people of Sunderland, you know,
Yeah,
everything. It's a whole city, from the top of the council to the bloke in the street. It's all about Sunderland. So I don't know if other places would be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no desire to put it anywhere else. If it did, it would get franchised, but then this would be the HQ, and I don't want to be in charge of loads of things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm busy as it is.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
And I want what I would like in the future is to everywhere in the country to look at Sunderland as that's the model that people should use, you know, because it works so well, and that's how you should treat veterans.
Yeah. So on to Sunderland then.
Yeah.
So are you a fan?
I am big fan. Well, I wouldn't say I'm big. I'm only 5'5". I sort of first match I think was when I was 7. We got family down in London and they support Chelsea.
All right.
And my dad always used to work weekends, and we're down there, and I was like, why can I never go to the match? And we were playing Chelsea pretty soon, so he took us to that game.
Home or away?
Home.
Right.
So I was in the Fulwell End.
Stood on a bit of wood?
No. That was a thing when I was in the clock stand.
Right.
In the clock stand. So I loved it from then, and then I went, because like I say, my dad worked down the pit, and he always had to work weekends because we didn't have much money. So I didn't get to go to many games because we lived at Town and Farm, and you know yourself, in them days it was like a fucking away match coming from Town and Farm to Roker, you know, 2 buses. So my sort of proper getting into football was 14, 15. You know, I was proper.
What era is that then?
For me, the casual era. You know, that's basically what drew me into it. Like,
so who would have been the manager then?
Oh, I can't remember. But
what sort of year we're talking?
84, 85.
That'll have been. Well, that was the year we got the cup final in 85.
Aye.
That'll have been.
Aye, I was gone.
Ashurst will have been the manager. I don't know.
How when you remember all that?
I wasn't even alive then. So you know.
You'll ask us questions about players and everything, and unless it's the Peter Reid era, I'm not gonna remember.
But that's when I grew up watching it. I was. That was when I was a kid. My dad ran the Bolden branch.
All right.
And we went every game, home and away, and best years ever, weren't they? Really?
Oh, it's great, mate. Well, a little story. I remember getting in a taxi, and the taxi driver was about in his 70s, and I said to him, you always talk about football, didn't you, the taxi driver? And I was like, what's your favourite era? And he was like, Peter Reid era. And I was like, fuck no, that is mine, but I hope when I'm 70 it isn't. No. You know what I mean? I hope something else happens. Like
that's the thing now. Like obviously we all still appreciate the 73 team.
Yeah.
But it's sad. That's the last thing we have to celebrate. Yeah. Really, it is, isn't it?
Peter Reid era was exciting. You know, the football we played was brilliant. You actually thought something was going to happen when you went to the match. You know, I mean, Roy Keane, I loved that bit as well, you know.
Yeah. Although I think some things were the Keane era because I was old enough to appreciate it. I think back now and I think, well, we didn't actually kick on until February time. Yeah. It was probably 3 months of just where it was like, beat everyone every week. But before that, you kind of forget that, you know what I mean?
But even them coming to us.
Well, I don't know if you were going. Did you go to the games then or not?
Yeah.
Do you remember when it was the day? Obviously, they'd been like, "Is he not? You know, going to come to Sunderland?" And then it was the day when he was in the crowd.
Yeah.
We played West Brom.
Yeah.
And it was like, because I remember the feeling building up that game before, like we'd been getting thrashed every week off shit teams. And then it was like, Keane's here. And it just put the, give everyone a bit of pride again, you know?
A bit of boost, you know?
That's what
I think, to be honest, I think all the players were shitting themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they were.
I asked Grant Leadbitter when he come in.
And he'll have been in that team.
He was, and he was young then, and Roy brought him into the team, and I was like, because we scored quite a lot of really late goals.
Yeah.
And I see, little things I remember, but I said, were you all scared to go downstairs? And he was like,
you would have been.
You know what I mean? You know, which is great. Let's get everyone like that.
Well, the problem is I don't think that works these days.
No.
Do they? You see the players now, they just put their earphones in, they don't listen, they're not bothered. They get on their agent and say, can I get a move? I mean, I've just, although it's not out for a couple of weeks, I managed to get a hold of the new Sun Until I Die series yesterday, and I watched the lot. And there's quite a lot of the early stuff in that series is about Josh Madger and when he left. And all the talk from the club and him is like the agent's got everything to do with it. And he's the most talented player at the club. He's scoring goals for fun, but the club can't do a thing because his agent's got the club by the balls. Agent wants him to go abroad so he can make a bit of money, and that's what ended up happening. And like, can you imagine that now? Keno and that screaming at players, it wouldn't happen.
Nah, it wouldn't, mate.
Because the problem is that players are too soft. They are too soft now. Like, maybe that's what's missing in football. You don't enjoy it as much, you know. Because I remember when Peter Reid was manager, although we still get big away crowds. I mean, going away, even at home, the atmosphere and everything, there was something different about football then, and it's just lost on it.
It was exciting from getting up in the morning. I mean, my worst time, all of my time, and I was a Laurie McMenemy, but my worst time, it was David Moyles. I live 5 minutes from the stadium, right? Hated going to the match. Hated. I had to force myself. You had no...
I remember I had the same feeling.
There was nothing for you to go in, but I've had a season ticket for, I don't know, since I was about 21, I think. And, you know, you just feel obliged to go.
It's a part of your routine, isn't it?
It is. Like, a lot of my friends will go, no, I'm not going, I'll just go and watch it in the pub.
I've got mates like that,
well,
and
I
can't not do it. Because to me, the match day isn't just about going to the match. It's going with my dad and my brother-in-law and having a pint, and you know what I mean? It's the same for a lot of people, you can't not go. I sit sometimes and I'm like, why am I bothering? You know?
Well, I think...
plan my life around going to watch that shite.
Exactly. And then it spoils your weekend all the time. But a lot of people think exactly... Why do you do it, right? When it's going to spoil your weekend and you could just sit in the pub and watch it. But like you say, it's whatever league we were in, I'd still be gone.
Well, I see that people all the time. If they were playing in the Northern League in front of a couple of blokes and their dog, I'd still go and watch them.
But do you think that in some way makes the club think, why, you know...
Take it for granted.
They still got to come.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's another thing I picked up on in that Sun Until I Die documentary, is the last season... The playoff semi-final game against Portsmouth, it was the worst crowd of the season, the playoff semi. We were 25,500. And I just think, like, in the series, you watch them, all the build-up to Boxing Day and how much effort they put in, and the PR and the, you know, getting the players out and doing videos and meeting local people. And, they made a massive deal out of Boxing Day, and we had 46,000 there on the gate. And then the playoff game, there was no effort at all. And it was like the spark had been lost because we'd kind of threw promotion, and the people were like, they didn't want to go, you know. And even then, I was disappointed, to be honest. I felt like, well, I think the club needs to give a bit back to the fans because they took us for granted, you know. I mean, Boxing Day, people come back to Wearside for Christmas and what have you, so you're gonna have a bit more on the gate. But that game, the playoff game, which we won, by the way, but I felt like that was the moment where I felt we were took for granted a little bit.
I was in Betdag's box actually for that because they did a Niall Quinn talking before we.
I went to that. We had a table.
And they also did the penalty shootout down Charlton. So they give us a thing and then presented as a check on the pitch. I mean, like Betdag, brilliant for doing stuff like that.
They were good for us, you know, as well. I was gutted. I remember when the announcement came out that they were coming out of football altogether, and I spoke to Tom. This was before he was involved with the club properly, and he was absolutely good because he just loves Sunderland, didn't he?
He does. He loves sport. He loves Sunderland. And that's what you need in the club. People love Sunderland, you know. I think that when obviously we could be getting new owners soon, and I think that's maybe what I know. Tom's just come on board, and I think it's been a good move bringing Sunderland people on because at least they're a sounding board to the owner, really. But I think like the dream is to have a proper Sunderland fan running the club day to day, and it's not we talk about trickle down effect. Trickle down effect from having somebody like that running the club is that the community comes together more. Things like this would benefit from it. Well,
I think
massively,
when you've got owners who take take notice of not just the club, but the people, the fans, and respect them a bit more, because I don't feel like, certainly not the director, Charlie Methven. I mean, I don't know whether Charlie's got the respect for the fans, maybe that the crave, you know, and I think that's maybe the downfall of these owners at the club. I mean, I don't know if you've had much to do with them.
I haven't. One, he did put £1 in the bucket on there when we
No way.
when we were collecting, because one of the client was just like
Shaking it in his face until he put some money
and
in.
he put £1 in.
No way.
So I said to the client, £1's better than £8. You know what I mean?
Every pound counts.
It does, mate. It does.
So when you were talking before, your era was the casuals era, going
to football and sort of get myself into trouble and stuff like that. You know, I went through sort of leaving the army. That was kind of the closest thing to being in the army. You know, knocking around with a big group of lads,
gang mentality, like group mentality.
You know, wearing nice clothes, fighting and stuff. So it was, you know, I'm not ashamed of it. I really enjoyed it.
No.
Unfortunately, it's illegal, and I kept getting locked up, so and banned from the match. So
to be fair, it was part of football, wasn't it, for a long time? That was late 70s, 80s, and it sort of died off a little bit in the 90s, didn't it? But like Sunderland, up until probably 10 years ago, still had a bit of that going on, you know.
So like, I mean, I've travelled with England abroad and stuff, and I had a great time. But that's something that I've grew out of, you know. I
hope so. You say you're nearly 50. You know what I mean?
I like going to the match, you know, and I still dress the same.
But do you have like a blanket over your knees and a cup of tea in there?
Bubble. I tell you what I did do now. I didn't go for a drink before because I need a piss. So I don't have a pint before now.
I've got to be honest, like I said before, the most enjoyable part of my match day is going to the pub. We got the Victory Club over the road.
All right,
and if I didn't have a pint, I don't think I'd bother coming
out. I gone now. I walk straight from. Well, I got in the gym probably, so I run in the morning. And then I gone straight from home to the match, and then I gone out drinking after. I mean, didn't get us wrong, I have a canny drink after, but before now I didn't bother like. And I used to be out like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning every match day. You know, but it's not good for me.
No, I couldn't do that. A couple of pints is enough, innit, if you're gonna have.
It's not. It's, you know, I didn't enjoy the match. I ended up needing the toilet all the time. You're not
down the stairs.
You're not at my age yet, mate. You need the toilet every 5 minutes.
I can hold it.
Wait, you kind of get a good night's sleep. Tell you.
No, obviously we were. I don't know why I haven't asked you about this, but obviously you're ex-forces. You served in the army, so I just want to ask you a little bit about that.
Okay.
So obviously, where did you serve? And
so I joined the light infantry in 1986. I joined when I was 16-year-old as a junior leader. Went to Winchester for a year to do the training when I was around about 48 weeks, I think, but I ended up staying a bit longer before I got posted.
48 weeks basic?
Yeah. Yeah, so then...
Cause you wouldn't do that now with the...
No, well, you do leadership training and stuff. It's all changed now.
Yeah.
Then I got posted to Northern Ireland, Omagh, Northern Ireland, in the 1st Battalion of Light Infantry. Spent around about 18 months there.
What was that like, Northern Ireland?
It was good. It was good. I mean, I was involved in some bad stuff that happened, where 8 people got killed.
Right.
And I've suffered because of that later in life, but when I was there, I joined the army to go to Ireland, because when I grew up, so if you go back to the Iranian embassy in 80, once I seen that happened, I was
the SAS storming through the windows.
So I was 10, and I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing that for a living. Then 82, you got the Falklands, and I was like, it's just getting better, you know, this is exactly what I want to do. The IRA were really active in England, on the mainland. I'm really, really patriotic. Not just about Sunderland, but about my country, you know. Not racist, but patriotic, you know. I love my country. And I wanted to basically go to Ireland and fight the IRA. So, 16-year-old, I joined the light infantry. Only the 1st Battalion was in Ireland, so I signed up for them, went there, and that's why I joined, you know. Some terrible things happened when I was there, but I would never blame sort of my mental health problems on that, because I signed up to do that. So.
Well, my dad's a veteran,
Aye.
and so is a lot of his friends, and most of them served in Ireland.
Aye.
And they always say that's probably the toughest place to went,
Aye,
because they look like us. You know what I mean? So it's hard.
It's exactly what you're saying there. They didn't have uniforms, you know, and what a bad thing was as well, and I don't know if you can put it as bad as the Vietnam thing where people would spit on you in the street, but people back in England weren't that happy about you being there.
Yeah.
But you know, you were doing what your country asked you to do, but you weren't allowed to wear your uniform because people were getting shot and stuff. You know, it was a difficult time. I mean, now veterans are sort of kind of looked up to, and it's a lot better for veterans and serving soldiers, and people can walk around in the uniforms and things like that. But when the war against the IRA, it was a little bit different, like.
Right.
But from there, I went to Berlin. I was there when the wall came down. Spent 2 years in Berlin. But I was involved in the rave scene. One of the sort of side effects of taking ecstasy is you love everybody. That's not good when you're an infantry soldier,
No.
you know. So I made a decision and I decided to leave. I left after 5 years.
Right.
Come back to Sunderland and then sort of carried on a bit of a party lifestyle for a while.
Right. And so since you left the army, obviously you haven't been doing this since.
No,
then,
I've did different things. I've been a baker. Well, I've been everything like a candlestick, mate, to be quite honest, mate. But my dad died, and he died in front of us, and I gave him CPR, and it didn't work. And from then, I just thought, well, you know, I own a part of a bakery. I sold that, and I just thought I'm going to do something where I help people. So I used my own money to volunteer at a homeless charity for 10 months.
Right.
Paid me on wages, and then I got a job with them. But in that time, I noticed there was a lot of veterans in private hostels in Sunderland, because there was a lot of private hostels then that weren't getting any help, because people think you can go to the British Legion and it's easy, but you would need like a mobile or the internet access or the money to get the metro to Newcastle to see the Legion.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as easy as people think. So I decided to start something myself, really, in my spare time while I worked for that charity.
What year was that?
We looking at about 6 years ago. So I did 3 years of it really part-time, where I helped about 20 veterans a year. And then I got a bit of funding from the British Legion to do it like kind of full-time, but because that charity, I worked for them, they took the funding. I wasn't very happy the way they spent the funding. And in that year, I helped 62 veterans. They only expect us to help 20, I helped 62. Because of what had happened with the funding and stuff in that charity, I left that charity without a job or anything. Had a little bit of savings, and I said, fix up.
Right.
Going. That was January 2018. I only started with £10 pay-as-you-go mobile phone, and Greg's is my office. That was it. I used to just take clients there and talk, you know.
Just come a long way in a short space.
Come a huge way. And people always ask if I thought it would get this big, and I did think it would get this big, but I didn't think it would get this big this quick. So
I think I guess there's a problem, isn't there, in the city? It's going to get big.
Yeah, well, where I am now is my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 year. So things have moved quite quick,
Right.
you know. I mean, a massive thing is that the Sunderland CCG and Sunderland Council both approached me in, actually my daughter's birthday, so it was November the 17th, 2017. I was doing a talk for Northumbria University, because I work for them. I was doing a talk at St James's Park, right? And at the end of the talk, I was like, oh, well, I'm unemployed now. If anyone gives a job, I'm sitting over there, just as a joke.
Yeah.
3 people coming offered us a job.
All right.
But one of them was like 2 women, one from the CCG, one from the council, and said, oh, well, we want you to do something for 2 months in Sunderland from January to March. Would you do that? We can't give you any money, but we'll give you a seat in an office in the Civic. So I was like, all right, and that sort of like progressed VIX quickly.
Right.
Because of the CCG and the JB Alliance, I've managed to get an Armed Forces champion in every doctor's in Sunderland. That's never been done anywhere in the country before. Because of that, I won a national award called the Health Service General Award last year. That's propelled it quicker. People now know a lot more about VIX. We've now been voted onto the partnership in Sunderland, which is unheard of for a third sector thing.
Yeah.
So you've got like the police, Gen 2, the council, CCG, JB Alliance.
It's like you said before, isn't it? Like this model probably couldn't work elsewhere. I think in the Sunderland, South Tyneside, I don't know about Newcastle, but the respect for ex-forces personnel is there.
Yeah,
and
it is,
that's why the support's there from the public, isn't it?
It is, and I think also that the model that we have made it into, everyone knows, everyone will be from Sunderland who work here. You have to be a client to work with clients, so people can't just go online and say, oh, there's a job with them, and come in and get a job, because for all I know, they're just coming for the money. You know, so you've got to have been a client to work with clients. Yeah. There's only me who hasn't been a client, but I've had my own problems. You know.
So how many people work here in this building?
We have like 5 staff, but we have volunteers as well. But like I said, to work with clients, you have to have been a client.
Right.
So we can't rush people into that. People need to be at a certain level to be able to help. But what we find is when you're at that level, you start getting better in yourself because you're helping other people, and you can always see it. I know how you feel. This is what happened to me. You know, no one gives advice to say you've got to do that. What we say is this worked for me.
Yeah. So obviously we'll wrap this up now. But
Okay.
if people want to help, I'll just go back over that again.
Yeah.
They can drop off food. They can donate
Drop
to
off
your
food,
crowdfunder.
donate. Yeah, the crowdfunding. I don't know. Can you put a link on this or not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll give you the link. You put a thing on the crowdfunder.
We'll put it out on social media as well. But people if they want to help, I mean, look, it doesn't matter whether we're in crisis. If you're skint, if you haven't got a penny yet, there's something you can do to help. There's always something you can do.
There is, and if you can find all our details on all our social media or website, get in touch. And if you're a veteran, you're not a client, still get in touch. We'll still help.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're from Sunderland, you've got a GPs in Sunderland.
Yeah.
That's our criteria, because it was getting so big that I was getting referrals from London,
Right.
Norwich, places, and I was like, well, I had to contain it.
Cap it.
Yeah. So you need to have a GP in the Greater Sunderland area, so they can answer the Coalfields, Washington.
Yeah, and there could be people listening to this who've got family members who they're worried about.
Yeah, but we help families as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just the veteran will help. We do stuff for families. So the families are always welcome to do all the activities like the art therapy and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. All right, brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Ger. Appreciate your time.
Can I just say, would you like to come in and do our podcast?
Oh, don't know about now. Of course I will. Yeah.
Right, nice.
All right, cheers, mate. Thank you very much.